Okay, so this lesson is now on the tangent. This is the final in our 3 trigonometric functions. So the tangent, exactly the same word that we use for the tangent of a curve, or tangent of a circle. So the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Okay, so here's our triangle, we've got our angle theta and the opposite and the adjacent, and there's our little triangle there. So I'm going to take you through the 3 basic calculations that we use with tangent. The first one is finding the opposite. So again, here I've got my angle, I've got my side there 5 meters and a side there x. Label them up, okay? Certainly whilst you're beginning doing trigonometry, it's always a really good idea to label up your sides so you just don't make mistakes. So I've labelled them up and I've got the adjacent and the opposite. Well, I know that tan is the only one that has both opposite and adjacent, so that's the function I'm going to use. So I put it in, so tan 19 is x over 5. Again, I want the x on its own, so I multiply up the 5, put the 5 over to the other side, and I get x equals 5 times tan 19, which when you put into your calculators, you get 1.72 metres. So the next thing we're going to look at is finding the adjacent. So again, I've written out a triangle here, I've got an angle of 48 degrees and I've labelled the sides in relationship to that. Again, I find I've only got the opposite and the adjacent, the 12 and the x. So I put that into my formula for tan. So tan 48 is 12 over x. So again, we swap the x and the tan 48 over. Bearing in mind that the reasoning behind this is I multiply up the x and then divide by the tan 48. So I end up with x is 12 divided by tan 48. Again, making sure your calculator is in degree mode, x equals 10.8 metres to 3 significant figures. So lastly, when we're looking at tan, is we want to find the angle. So this time I've got my angle unknown here, and I've got 10 metres and 6 metres, and again I label my sides. Again, realising that I've only got an opposite and adjacent to work with, so that is going to restrict me to tan. So I do tan theta is 10 over 6, and here we're going to be taking that inverse again. So I do the inverse of tan of 10 over 6, okay, or remember on your calculator you're going to press shift tan, bracket 10 divided by 6, close bracket, and your answer is going to be 59.0 degrees to 3 significant figures. Now bear in mind, just as an aside, when we're looking at 59.0 degrees to 3 significant figures, I have to include that 0, okay, because otherwise it's just to 2 significant figures.